welcome to Consciously Healthy. I'm Laura.
And I'm Claire. How are you doing?
I am going through some stuff. I'm going through a lot of change. I am going through quite a lot of heartache, and so I think that this show is going to be about how to deal with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How are you?
Same. There's some really massive shifts happening in my life, and it's quite challenging. It's quite exhausting, and it's challenging, and it's kind of in every aspect of my life. Actually, there's a change happening on some level. So it's like I've never experienced, in every single aspect of my life, such massive change. So it's challenging, but we're doing okay. That's the thing, which is what we wanted to share.
We are doing okay. I think this is an important point. Is we make it in our Reclaim Your Life free webinar, which if you haven't watched it, go onto our website and check it out. And we talk about, I remember when I first started exploring an emotional journey, and I was looking for the thing that was going to fix everything. I was looking for the fix. And the thing that I have discovered is that life happens, and instead of trying to stop feeling difficult emotions and situations, it's about being able to navigate what comes up in life.
I completely agree, and there is no such thing as completely fixed. Like I always felt like I had this weight of a mountain on me, and I was, looking to get to the top of the mountain where it would all be easy and free and lovely. And of course that's not true. It doesn't exist. So it is, as you say, it's about learning how to get by when life is tough and enjoy it when life isn't tough. Like that's the thing, right?
Isn't that the beauty of life? It's very much my belief that life is about experience, and when we stop labeling something as good and bad and just being with every experience and seeing the gold in all of it and the growth in all of it, then that is...
Yeah, absolutely.
That's been the goal for me.
Like there is no such thing as bad. I remember reading about that. It might be Mike Dooley actually talking about that there is no such thing as bad. And of course it's so easy to come up with examples of things that have happened that are bad. But actually when we take a step far enough away from them and look at them extremely objectively, we might be able to resonate, empathically with from a human perspective of the pain or the trauma or, the loss or the grief. But actually, stuff just happens. It is what it is. It's not good or bad. It just is. And we can learn from this information. We can evolve. The pain is valid. The human tragedy is valid, but there is no such thing as good and bad.
I really like the analogy of picturing roses growing through manure. So it is essentially, the good stuff is going to come from the shit. So the more that we can allow the manure in our life, the more roses we're going to have.
Yeah, and actually the journey of the growing, if you think about plants and you think about us as spiritual creatures, that growth is painful. As children, we get growing pains. Bones have literally got to move and elongate for us to grow. Plants, if you imagine that they are breaking through the earth at the time when the earth is the hardest, like those little spring flowers. And so that, that squeezing through the tiny little cracks in the earth, like that is a difficult, challenging, painful process.
Yeah.
And this is all how we grow and we evolve. I absolutely love, there was an analogy I was once given, which was, I can't remember the story exactly, so this is kind of my interpretation of it. But some Japanese or Chinese farmer, and suddenly, a runaway horse ends up in his farm, and all the neighbours say, "Oh, this is good, and he says, "We'll see." And then his son is tending to the horse, and the horse kicks him and breaks his son's legs, and the villagers will go, "Oh, this is bad," and the little Chinese man says, "We'll see." And then what happens, a war breaks out, and the army are looking for recruits, but they can't recruit the son because of his broken legs. And so the villagers say, "Oh, this is good." And the man says, "We'll see." And it's just this, if we just stop labelling as good and bad, we just get to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's just that the going through it is really challenging, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we're both in it.
Yeah, we're both in it.
So how are you navigating it?
we have done so much different, we have such a wide variety of different work that we have both done in the last 15 years. We have got a lot of tools in our toolbox, right? So I use my tools.
Get your spanner out.
Get my spanner out. And my spanner in this case, one of the spanners that I'm using, and it's something we talk about on our Reclaim Your Life program. It's, we put together Reclaim Your Life because we have spent 15 years each doing this work and spent about £10,000 each doing the work.
Oh God, and some.
And all the time we've taken off work, the holidays we've missed, the weekends we've missed. And we put together a program so that women could do this in the comfort of their own home at a really, 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 really affordable cost.
Yeah.
And one of the tools that we talk about is parenting our inner children. And parenting, self-parenting for me is so huge because I can feel the pain of the vulnerable part of me. And rather than squash it or judge it, like I can actually work with it and support it. And this is how I get my needs met.
It's like a meditation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's literally having a communication and a contact with this really young, vulnerable side of us.
Yeah.
And it's a life-changing.
Life-changing.
Meditation for me too.
Yeah, it's just, I remember, we did it for 21 days and my life has never looked the same since. So that's getting me through quite a lot at the moment because it just puts me in touch with what I need in that moment.
Yeah.
And in every moment. And how about you? How are you getting through?
Well, I was going to say that 2 days ago I hit my laptop, which is not a very evolved thing to do, especially considering I broke it. So for me, one of the biggest...
we don't believe in regrets, so...
No, so we're getting the laptop fixed and we're exploring what is coming up in me. So one of the biggest pieces of work that I have done is the anger work, and it's... Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit broader because it's when I go through difficulty, it's understanding what that emotion is bringing in me. So, 2 days ago, it was very much the anger was there. And so I got myself into a space where I was able to explore that. And I was fascinated to see that when the anger came through, it wasn't actually anger that was demonstrating it. It was the anger was on the surface. Underneath it was a really, really deep grief, and I just allowed myself to let that come, let that go, and just really cry from a place. It's almost like quite a young cry.
Yeah.
It's like a belly cry, rather than just. That's another top tip actually I would give is if you were going through something particularly difficult and there are a lot of tears, it's letting them run. Just letting them be, just being in it, being in the snot, being in the tears, being in it, rather than, I see a lot of my clients, when tears come, they are holding it, tissue, don't let the makeup ruin. And there is something really cathartic about letting tears just pour.
Tears and
being in the
snot
water of it.
Yeah.
So I can be very in the fire, rah, in the water, and it feels like that kind of movement of energy. And I know that whenever I am holding back an emotion, that is when I start to really experience the pain and the difficulty of the situation.
Yeah.
So as soon as I can let an emotion come through and it moves into another one and it moves into another one, I just feel cleansed. So.
And it really clears quite quickly, doesn't it? Yesterday, it's very unusual for us both to be quite low. Usually one of us is, okay, and the other one's a bit low, and we can kind of balance each other out and support each other. But yesterday we were both quite low. But actually, as soon as we kind of admitted it, had a little bit of a chat, checked in, we're both just really gentle with ourselves and with each other. And then by the end of the day, it was, this feels better. It shifts. It stops being like a fog that we're in for, a really long period of time.
I would say that I spent many years holding back on quite a lot of emotions, and it's like a dam, and it backs up and it gets quite nasty and ganky. And so when that dam started to break down, I had to go through, that fog was deep and dark, but now because
but
I
then
just
the water runs clear, right?
It takes a while, but the water does run clear. And I think this is what you were trying to say, is that now when emotion comes up for us, because we are so keen on exploring an emotion when it does come up, that it doesn't stick around for a long time.
No, absolutely.
But if you've been holding on to a particular emotion for a while,
it'll take a bit. Yeah,
it might take a while.
So my top tip is being in the emotion, and then just really asking yourself what it is that you need. You might need a hug, you might need a cup of tea. You're very unlikely to need the things that are self-sabotaging triggers.
Need a big piece of chocolate cake?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't listen to that voice.
So, you know, often I've got like a really nice sort of fake fur blanket, and just sort of wrapping myself up in that if I'm feeling quite vulnerable is really important. And also being, if you feel you can be authentic with your loved ones and just say, I'm not in a great place, I'm okay, I'm not in a great place, and I could really use a hug.
That's a really good one. It's so automatic for us. When someone says, how are you? You go, I'm fine. When you're not, and I think that would be one of my top tips, is to say, actually, I'm not. I'm really not. And it's not from a sort of a victim place. It's just actually acknowledging where you are. I think the honesty of that is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I think so many people, their pursuit in life is to be happy. I just want to be happy. And it's unattainable to be happy all the time. And oh my God, it's, you know, that's just, why would you have one colour of the rainbow when you can have the whole spectrum?
Yeah, exactly.
And the more that we can drop into our dark stuff, the more that we can actually access. It gets higher than happy.
It does.
I get into ecstasy with how great life can be.
It can. It's amazing. So we will be exploring this further, because it's like clearly a deep area of passion for us.
Yeah.
And signing off from here, where we're both going through challenging things but are okay. And we'll see you next time.
We're doing all right.
Bye for now.